Hello, welcome back to the Real Talk with Dottie and Dalmas. Yay!
Yeah, it's good to be back. 1 year later, it's
Mhm.
literally a year
Yeah.
later. We took a break, a little bit of a hiatus in our, recording, shooting, and just sharing content because we needed to find a balance between my work schedule and Sean's school
School
and
and content.
content,
Yeah.
yeah, and content creation. And so we feel like, at least for now, we've been able to, you know, understand what are the demands of those important pieces of our lives,
Mm.
but still very much want to continue in sharing our life experiences on this podcast, on this channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to start us off in this episode, we want to talk about mental health issues. It's Mental Health Awareness Month this May. And what a better topic for us to tackle than this one.
Yeah.
So Sean, if I ask you, when you hear mental health or mental awareness, what
Mm.
comes to mind?
I think, as every other person, the first thing that comes to mind is depression. You know,
Mm,
depression that can come from peer pressure, social media, um, traumatic experiences, family
mhm,
issues, financial issues. So,
mhm,
several things that lead you to feel sad and emotional within yourself that end up causing depression.
mm,
And yeah, so at this channel, in aspect of keeping it real, we
mhm,
are going to share our real life experience of how we handle our mental health with each other. And
mhm.
yeah, so back to you. What is that? When was the time you felt your mental health was hitting rock bottom?
Wow, Sean, that's a big one. Um, so it's gonna be 7 years in July
Mm.
when I lost the love of my life. My husband, their dad, and that for me, he was my anchor. He was he was literally everything for me
Mm.
because what losing him made me realize that I didn't have anybody else in my corner. And the one thing that he allowed me to do as his partner and the fearless woman that I am is to go and conquer the world. And he was very much okay with being behind the scenes,
Mm.
uh, taking care of the kids. Actually, that's what he did. And so losing him meant that I needed to figure out my whole life once again. And as you can see, we are still trying
We're
to
still
figure
trying to
we are
figure that
still
out.
trying to figure
Yeah.
it out. So for me, that one um, really, really shook me to the core.
Mm.
And I know, like, I went through depression
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
and you witnessed
I
that.
remember.
And but I thank God because my family, my nuclear family that I was born with,
Mm.
they rallied around me, and I had all my siblings move in with me to live
Tulikuwa
with
familia
us.
mzima. Everyone was just there. Walisema hatuendi mahali tuko.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and and it was such a long period because sometimes when you've lost somebody, and the matanga happens and people go away, and then you're left alone,
And
and
you go,
that's the
yeah, that's
time
when the
you
grief
that's
hits.
when the grief
Yeah.
actually hits.
Mm.
And for me it did hit.
Yeah.
And so when my sister and my two brothers, they saw that happening, I'd never been that broken. I don't think I'd been broken as an adult
Mm.
that much. So
Yeah.
they came and they lived with us for nearly 2 years,
Mm.
and they walked with us that journey. So I'm really grateful, for them,
Mm-hmm.
that I had that kind of a support system.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and some I want to bring it back to you, Sean, but at that particular point is when I realized I'm a single mother and I needed to be a parent.
Yeah. You needed to be present.
And I needed to be present in your lives.
Mm.
And I did not know how to do it because my husband is the one who used to do it. He used to handle all the situations. You go, conquer the world. I will handle home matters.
Yeah.
And then Sean was just hit teenage.
And high school was coming in. Yeah, it was about the time that I'm finishing class 8.
It was right after
Yeah.
Dad died.
Yeah.
And Sean, at that time, I remember you were going through some things.
Yeah.
Do you want to share what that was and what that was like?
I feel like we had a stable home, and then after Daddy's death, everything, that's when it opened this space of realizing that we are not that intact, that the person who was keeping all of us together has left. So we had to figure out a lot of things, 3 of us, me, you, and baby me. So went through the remainder of primary, then puberty hits and high school ndio hiyo. So
and you don't have your dad to talk
and I
to.
don't have my dad to talk to. So it was a lot. You can imagine you're learning new things about yourself. You're going through new challenges. Like high school is a big step, especially if you're in Kenya. High school is a big step for anyone. And you really, really need that person to be there with you, so that when anything happens or when you need to go to learn how, hizi ujinga zenye tunafanyanga high school, budako anakufundisha how to kukua mjanja, you get. So I didn't have that. And the realization that the person who would have taken me through that is no longer there, it was hard. So
Sean, you never shared that.
Yeah. So I felt like no one is listening to me. No one wants to talk to me. No one wants to ask, are you okay? Nowadays is when people have learned that art of just asking someone, are you okay? So back then, I feel like I didn't have someone to just come and sit me down and just ask me, Sean, are you okay? So with the whole expectation, umeingia high school, everyone is expecting you hit the ground running. It's 4 years. Yeah. So I was
Shika box.
Yeah. So I started rebelling, and the whole family, my mom, the nuclear family, no one knew what was happening with me. And the rebellion was intense. And I know it was intense for my mom mostly. I got expelled twice.
And at that point, Sean, I remember one time going and locking myself up in my room, cried, and I said, Wawesh angekua, he would know what to do in that situation.
Because Daddy would have immediately known what to do.
He would have. Yeah. Like he was that kind of a person.
Yeah, alikuwa quick. He was like, you minta sort. Yeah. So that
expulsion twice, like 2 different schools. Who does that?
But years going down, the Corona came, and that's when we were forced. That's when me and you, I think we were forced to. I'm locking you up in the same house. Deal with your issues. Deal with them together. Hakuna mali unaenda.
So it was kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because when COVID came, this is actually when we began talking to each other. And I mean, I'm a Kenyan mom, so of course talk down to your child. That's how I was raised. It's my way or the highway. But like when COVID came, actually, when COVID came, and I had recently also stepped out of employment because of challenges that I was facing as a leader within my area of work. I work in the NGO sector. I'm a human rights activist, And I really struggled over the years of, after my husband's passing, 2017 up until 2019, because I had people that I thought were my friends, who are also colleagues, who, challenged my leadership. I wasn't prepared for that. You're a leader, you're a born leader, or you think you're a born leader, so you're there.
Yeah.
And I'm running an organization, and coordinating a whole movement. And I was challenged. Some which are good criticism that I take, lessons that I've learned moving forward, but some which really hit me to the core because I lost friends, or like I cut ties with friends at that particular point, because a little bit of it was petty, very personal, and people digging into your personal life.
Walikuwa after the singlest thing.
Kamakosa,
Yeah, kadogo tu.
like, we're all human beings, we make mistakes, but when you're a leader, there's so much scrutiny on you.
Yeah.
But this went beyond. So guess what? Another mental breakdown happens.
Yeah.
And then COVID.
Yeah.
So me with my mental challenges, and Sean being expelled from school, lockdown.
We're locked down together. Yeah. So
you will figure
was
it
indeed a
out.
blessing in disguise, because that is the moment where we realize that we only have each other, and it is only within each other that we are going to go through whatever we were going through. That's when we started talking. That's when I was able to open up to mom and be like, hey, by the way, this and this is what's happening, and this is how I feel. But before then, honestly, before COVID, we were not talking. You'd go about your day. If you have your issues, you'd call your friends, and mmepiga udaku kwa simu. Me, I go outside, I talk to my friends outside. We were living in the same house, but we were not living together.
Yeah.
Ilikuwa tutakuja kwa nyumba, uko poa? Mimi niko poa. Uko fiti? Umeamka? As long as mtu aliamka hiyo siku.
You're alive.
So the moment COVID hit,
yeah,
that's when we grew the art of talking to each other and having to actually know what's happening in each other's lives.
And the reality is, that is when we built this relationship that you and I have. Now so many people see us and they're like, oh my God, you guys have such a beautiful relationship. Mungejua, like if you knew. Pali tumetoka. Yeah, like it's been a journey. Been a journey.
You also mentioned about leadership. You the struggles you went through with leadership, and the depression that you went through that, and the struggles that you went through that. And I feel like after COVID, even after COVID left, and then I was able to settle down in a good school. She was able to settle down in a good workspace. We both went back to positions of leadership. Her running her management in her organization, and me being in the president of my school. It was tough. So you can imagine being expelled from 2 schools and coming to a new school. You've settled down, you've just entered into leadership, and you're trying to navigate that. And it was hard.
Bullying happened.
Wait. I was just getting there. So I've just transferred from an 844 school to a British curriculum school. And to be honest, no one prepares you for the shift.
What preparing do you want? You've been elevated.
These kids are different.
It's a different kind. It is now a
different breed. So the bullying was massive. And like you said, everyone is looking for the tiniest thing, just the smallest thing to just attack you with. It was common. And even up until now, me being a leader in my school and having my positions of presidents in Rotary, every single person has something against you. It has a personal vendetta. Like, it just has to happen. Yeah.
Like, I remember this time, Sean, remember when they ripped your school blazer? Like, it was cut into pieces.
Yeah.
That
was intense.
That school, that is the day that school knew who I was. Because I was like, I don't care what my son did. That one you can deal with, you can punish, you can, there are steps to be taken. But when other students now take it upon them to now, wameanza na blazer, next thing they will stab my child. Even for you, you were so surprised because I told that school, I was like, I'm going to take my child out of this school. And this matter, tuendeni tu kotini sasa because it's now causing, harm. And I could see Sean being in a school where he's flourishing, he's doing well, he's in a position of leadership, he's doing very well, he's performing very well. Hatuna issues. But now, like he says, a different caliber of people.
Hey, it was different.
Which means the bullying now escalates. Yeah. But that reminded, because some of them were your friends.
Yeah, and I'd come to you a lot to rant about my friends and be like, I thought this person was my friend. I thought this person was my friend. And yeah, and going through that, there was no other person who after that I would trust and be like, I'm going through this in school or around leadership, or let's say uyu ananisengenya na uyu. I'd not go back to someone else in school and tell them whatever is happening. The only person I'd come back to is you and be like, hey, this and this is happening in school. And you saw how hard that situation did to me. It took a wobble in my studies. I remember in my final year, but I believe talking through it with you and having to learn the ropes with you, and you also sharing some of the things that happened to you with your friends, also helped me realize that friends come and go.
Yeah. Friends do come and go. But when you find, there's certain friendships that are there that last you a lifetime. But then there are those that come and go. Because for me personally, I think I've really reduced my circle of friends. Remember how I used to have
ulikuwa na watu wengi kwa nyumba every single Saturday tumekaa.
Yeah, but and then the friends that walk with you through a journey. Like I remember the loss of Wawesh was very hard. So the friends that stuck with me then, and then even through my work struggles, obviously, even when financial situations change, I saw
you would clearly see who's your friend.
Exactly, because I lost friends during that time as well. So already I'm dealing with issues about losing my livelihood or managing with that situation, which is causing me mental health issues, because like I'm really trying to navigate and be creative in getting alternative sources of income, but friends out there letting you down. So it's always about striking that balance, just knowing who are the people you can trust, the people that you can have in your corner, in your to be with. But then also for different occasions, I've also gone through therapy. Sean, you know this.
It didn't work for me though.
Therapy did not work for Sean. Sean went for therapy, but because actually Sean was diagnosed with, wait for it, ODD, oppositional
obsessive disorder.
No, defiance disorder.
Defiance disorder. Yeah.
So the thing umemwambia afanye, he will just do the opposite.
Exact opposite of it.
And this is what you're expecting, you would do the opposite.
So it was like you guys got into a tendency of not telling me what to do, because I do exactly what you've told me to do. Like you tell me don't go outside, then I would actually go outside. So you would not tell me what to do. It got to a point where you were like, you know what? Just do it.
Yeah, but like I also learned a lot from that. He's a child psychologist. So yeah, I think even just as we are wrapping up, mental health issues are quite personal, are very important. For anybody. You could be going through a breakup, you could be going through financial struggles, you could be going through
peer pressure,
bullying, social media stuff. I mean, you could be an introvert and you just don't have someone to talk to, and therefore, you're just in your thoughts. This girl, geek girl.
Oh yes,
she's
this new series on Netflix called Geek Girl.
She's such an introvert. Like she's to a point that I'm so mad at her, but also understanding that it could be like a mental health thing that they, it's being shown in that TV
in the TV
series.
series, yeah.
And there are people out there who are there to help you. For me, my number one support system is Sean.
Likewise, like I said, therapy didn't work. So
Wait, likewise, meaning your number one support system is
oh,
you.
sorry, my number one support system is you. Yeah, because I feel like there's no other person who understands me. You know those people, those friendships that you're like,
Surface.
not no,
Do.
no. I'm just like you can't get rid of that friendship because the work of going to build another one. Hiyo ni kazi.
But that's
So this friendship is so you know too much. There's no way you're getting out of this. So I feel like I've built a lot of trust in you, and you've also built a lot of trust in me.
That's true. That's true.
The only way that I can go through anything that I have in my mind is coming to talk to you. Even though sometimes I don't want advice, I don't want you to tell me what to do, but just telling you. I know sometimes I'm not telling you to tell me what to do. I'm just telling you so that you know that this and this is what's happening. But yeah, and I can say we are still learning how to navigate it. I remember yesterday.
Oh my God.
You
Sean.
called me and then I responded to you so badly. I was like, yeah, Nisawa.
I'm like, what's happening here?
Yeah, and immediately after I calmed down with myself and I texted and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm still navigating how to channel my frustrations. Because the Baba is the person who had frustrated me.
What? Alikunywa vibaya?
No, hakuwa nasikia kenye namwambia. And then he's doing my head like, I mean.
And then I call you, you talk badly to me.
So I was like, sorry, it's not your fault. You're not the problem. But yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so I mean, there's therapy options and there's quite some good therapists. I think we'll share in the link contact details of therapists that you can reach out to.
Yeah.
Friends, I mean, we've talked about friendship.
Yeah.
So find, people you trust that you can talk to. But if you're an introvert, you can, journal, write down.
Yeah, journaling works. I have so many introverted friends who journal.
Exactly. Like journaling also works. Exercise, like
yoga,
exactly, yoga, meditation, or like just spend some quiet time with God,
Yeah.
The word says, sorry, nimeanza kukua preacher hapa sasa. Be anxious for nothing, because like God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. So sometimes you can't see the end of it, but just trust that something is gonna happen
light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah. So
main message I think was the fact that mental health is something that's real. Mental issues is real. No one should tell you that, oh, unajifanya,
and nowadays people talk about it. People talk about it. There's also a walk that's happening for men's mental health.
It happened yesterday, actually. It happened yesterday with St. John's ambulance from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Oh no, okay. So then there were many because but I've seen one on one of Kenyan celebrity pages. There's a men's mental health walk at the end of the month. Nice. So find ways to participate in those things, and I'm sure we'll all get, we get through it mentally. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for being with us on the Real Talk with Dottie and Dalmas.
Bye.